Galileo was born in Pisa, Italy in 1564 on February 15th. As a child, he was the oldest of his 7 siblings, and his dad ultimately wanted him to go into medicine, mainly for the wealth factor. Even though this was his father's dream for him, he was sent to a Jesuit monastery to study religion. During this time, Galileo said he wanted to become a monk, causing his father to take him out of school and put him in a regular one. At the age of 17, Galileo went to the University of Pisa to study medicine, just as his father had wanted. During his time at the university, he became famous with the law of pendulum, stating the period of each swing of something was the same. This would eventually be used to regulate clocks. In time, Galileo had become unhappy at the university and was beginning to flunk out of his classes, with the exception of mathematics. In order for Galileo to stay in school, a compromise had to be made. This specific compromise was for Galileo to be tutored by a famous mathematician, leading to his success in the field. Even though he followed through with math, he was unsuccessful at the university, leaving without a degree. In order to earn a living, Galileo started tutoring students in math and competing for a spot on the mathematics faculty at the University of Pisa. Because he had offended numerous people at the university, Galileo was unsure of whether he could get a spot. However, he did, only from figuring out the size of Lucifer in Dante's Inferno. For a while, debate had been going on about Aristotle's law that heavier objects fall faster to the earth than lighter objects. At the time, no one had gone against this idea, and nothing had been done to prove it wrong. Galileo decided to test this by climbing the leaning tower of Pisa and dropping balls of various sizes and weights. In the end, all the balls had landed on the ground at the same time, proving Aristotle's law was wrong. Even though Galileo had made a great discovery at the school, his contract was not renewed, due to how rude he had been to his colleagues. By 1593, Galileo needed money for the growing debts of his family. Since he was the head man of his family, he would be the one to go to prison if the debts weren't paid. In order to pay these, he had tried selling his different inventions, but little seemed to have much profit. Things turned around for him, however, when he created a civilian compass that could be used for land surveying. This invention led to the payment of debts for his wife, sister, and 3 children. In 1608, Galileo was now famous enough to bring students to the school he now worked at, the University of Padua, where he was studying magnets. In 1609, rumors were going around that an eyeglass maker had produced a device that could make faraway objects seem near. Galileo saw this as an opportunity to make his own. In 24 hours, he had built a 3-power telescope without ever actually seeing one. He then refined it into a 10-power telescope and brought it to the Senate in Venice, raising his salary and honoring him with high proclamations. One night, Galileo pointed his telescope to the moon. At the time, people thought it was a perfectly smooth heavenly body, but what Galileo saw was an uneven and rough surface with cavities. Even though Galileo had made this discovery, many people still thought he was wrong. On January 7, 1610, Galileo pointed his 30-power telescope to Jupiter and found 3 bright objects around the planet. One was to the west, while the other 2 were to the east, but all were in a straight line. Later, he looked again and saw that all 3 objects were west of the planet in a straight line. His next weeks of observations concluded that these objects were satellites rotating around Jupiter. This led to the idea that Earth was not the center of the solar system, but the Sun. He published all of his findings in a book called The Starry Messenger, which excited the public. With the telescope, Galileo also found bumps next to Saturn, thinking they were companion stars, but really these were the outer edges of the planet's rings. Not only did he find this, but spots in the sun, contributing even more to astronomy. In his works, Galileo had contradicted the teachings of the Church and Bible, because he stated that the Earth went around the sun. Numerous mathematicians from the Church said he was correct, but several members continued to think he was wrong. Galileo was also a religious man and said that the interpreters could make mistakes about the Bible. At this time, it was unthinkable for the public to interpret the Bible, causing the Church to accuse him of heresy. Eventually, he would be cleared of all charges.